Hello, thank you for listening. My name is Brandon DeGro, and today I am the Lorekeeper. I have brought a couple of my friends with me to listen to this great story. Introduce yourselves.
I am Marcus. I am completely unaware of really what we're talking about. That's pretty much it. I'll let my best friend here go next here.
Yeah, so I'm Brandon. Not the same one, but that's
Oh,
fine.
I picked a really
Um,
great thing for the first
damn.
episode to have that
Yeah, I just
confusion.
realized.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
Oh, yeah. Wait, so
Perfect.
I guess I'm gonna call Mr. Lorekeeper letters, and that's gonna be really confusing to everybody who is listening, but
It'll make
just
sense.
know that
Whatever.
is a
They'll figure it
yeah,
out.
it's an in nickname. Yeah, so you guys okay.
So I want to start off by asking, who would you pick as the toughest athlete of all time?
Ooh. Oh my god. Toughest athlete of all time. That's a tough one. Lawrence Taylor, for as an awful as a person he was massive. So there's that. Shoot, I don't know. I mean, we've Derek Bugard. We were just talking about him earlier. I mean,
The Boogeyman.
probably one of the yeah, like again after hockey, awful, but like awful what happened, but like holy shit, one of the biggest and best enforcers in the game, right? So there's that. I don't know, but I don't know who the like I don't know who I would consider the toughest.
Brandon, you got any names to throw out there?
I mean, if we're talking about just athletes in general, I'm gonna go like power lifter and strongman.
That makes sense. That's a
I mean,
fair place
I'm
to go with
Yeah,
it.
I'm an Eddie
yeah,
Hall
no,
fan, right? You
that's
pick
fair.
something up and you bleed out of your everything. That's pretty fucking hardcore.
Well, over the next 2 hours, I'm going to make my pitch for a different Eddie, Eddie Shore. Eddie Shore was born in Fort Capel, Saskatchewan on November 25th, 1902, to a couple of farmers, Catherine and TJ Shore. Eddie and his brother Aubrey grew up doing work around the farm to help out the family, harvesting wheat, chopping wood, tending the animals, and so on. By the time he was 7, Eddie could ride a horse and had his own, and he was regularly punching cows on the range. If
What?
you're asking that
Um,
phrase,
What?
punching cows was apparently an old-timey way of testing whether a cow is pregnant, is you would walk like in
Uh,
front of one of its hind legs and just punch it. And judging by the
uh,
texture, a farmer could tell like whether the cow was pregnant or
the
not.
texture. What is the texture?
I could not tell
Wait,
you what is the texture of a pregnant cow thigh.
what? Yeah, I have many questions. So you just going, you said you're going behind it and just punching it.
Yeah, it was like right in front of one of the rear legs. You would just go up and you just
Like,
give it a good punch.
okay,
And I guess
okay,
depending, a pregnant cow and a non-pregnant cow would have a different resistance, I guess, to getting punched there.
oh,
It was also a
okay,
term used for just driving cattle in general, but I'm going to go with the more fun
huh?
way that he was just walking around just wailing on cows
Just
to.
wailing on some cows. I want. Do we still do that? Do we still
No,
do
that is
that
not.
today?
I have to imagine that
Okay,
today it is frowned upon to just walk through a barn,
okay.
just
I
walloping
mean,
every
if it's
cow you
not,
walk
like, I
by.
want that certification.
Yeah, like I feel like a job that like maybe I can maybe do that, right? You just want to just go and start punching cows. All right, okay.
So Eddie's father, TJ, was a very tough love, bootstraps kind of guy, and it was that kind of man's man that Eddie and his brother Aubrey grew up around the farm. He really took things seriously. Once Eddie and Aubrey got into a fist fight while they were doing work in the barn over who would get to use which tool. And they both punched each other in the mouth and just got into a long scuffle. Eddie said, for the next 20 minutes or so, we went around and around knocking each other down time and again, but neither could put the other away, nor would either of us give up. Eventually, they just got too tired to continue, and TJ said, I hope you're satisfied, now go back to work. I think he was just sitting there watching them from the sounds of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like, was he just like this is the good stuff? If this is what he had to do for fun back then, is just, just
So in
watching.
I mean,
1910,
obviously, none of the cows were pregnant, right?
yeah.
Because otherwise, they'd be busy.
So in 1910, when Eddie was 8, his father took advantage of an area of Saskatchewan that was opened up to homesteading. So the family was able to move and open a very large ranch on a bunch of cheaply acquired land. It was a pretty large ranch. They were doing very well for themselves. They had hundreds of livestock and were moving hundreds of thousands of pounds of wheat and barley. So when Eddie was 12, there was a time when he was hanging out at a butcher shop, and the butcher was in the middle of cutting up meat. And Eddie was starting to get a reputation for being a tough kid for all this farm work he was doing, and the butcher told Eddie, hey, if you beat up that kid over there, I'll give you this slice of meat. But if he beats you up, then I'll give it to him. So Eddie goes over and just starts a fight with this other kid, and a crowd forms to watch two children fight over a piece of meat.
Are we making bum fights over, like, what are we doing?
It's not a bum fight, because normally this would be a story that would be with two bums, but Eddie is the son of a wealthy rancher. He does not need to get into a fist fight for this meat.
Do this.
And we're sure this is real history?
This is real history.
Yeah, this sounds like some fucking shit you do in Skyrim to, like, entertain yourself.
You can
like,
blame C. Michael Hyam if this is inaccurate. I read this from his biography of Eddie Shore. So Eddie went and fought that other kid, and he won. And he got a piece of meat. And while he was munching on that meat, the butcher cut up an even bigger piece of meat, and he said, you see that kid over there who's even bigger? If you beat him up, I'll give you this piece of meat. And so Eddie went and got another fight. But he lost that one.
So why did he do the next one? Like,
yeah, he was not just running the gauntlet all day.
Okay, but here's the thing. Right? This is a guy. This is a butcher. Obviously the meat man who sends you after random children. Please tell me it's at least cooked? Or are we just like fighting people for raw meat? Okay, that makes me feel better.
Well, that's why I was like, is this a bum fight? He's just tossing meat out and like, go get it, kid. Like, what's happening?
Get it, kids!
Right yeah,
meanwhile, probably the richest kid in town is one of the fighting kids.
Why? Like, I don't understand. Alright, fine.
Later that year, he was asked to round up some loose horses, and he spent all day rounding them up and getting them back together. But while he was chasing down the last one, his horse got its leg caught in a burrow hole, and the two of them went flying, with Eddie landing underneath his horse.
Oh, shit.
He was so dazed he didn't come to his senses until nighttime, only to find that both of his shoulders had been absolutely shattered by the horse falling on him. The horse loyally stuck around, but it took him a half hour to remount and ride 18 miles back home. The doctor didn't expect a full recovery of his shoulders to ever happen, and his parents had to help him get himself dressed for 3 months. Eddie was not able to move his right arm above his head again until he was 18.
What?
But,
how old was he when this happened?
12.
Holy shit.
By the time he was 13, even with his injury, he was driving cattle teams by himself, and he was given a gun to ward off trouble, which he did feel the need to use once or twice. He was regularly facing peril away from home with his responsibilities. There was one occasion that he was sent to drive cattle in temperature of 60 degrees below zero. It might have actually been colder than that, but Eddie listed the number of 60 below zero because that's where the thermometers broke.
Wow. Holy shit.
This is Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
Oh
okay, that's...
Up in the plains in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. 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 What the...
Eddie and a farmhand had to keep the cattle moving so they didn't freeze to death, and they had to get off the horses and move around once in a while so they didn't freeze to death. On the way back to the ranch, Eddie's horse fell. Quote, I didn't realize it until then, but I was probably frozen. My legs were frozen in the shape of a horse. I couldn't get off, but the horse got up again with me in the saddle. 100 yards later, the horse fell again, and it took him 30 minutes to remount and head back home. One more time, TJ told Eddie that a bull they had a hernia, and he was to operate on it, and if he didn't succeed, he would get beaten.
What? Time out. Hold on. Well, Eddie's going to operate on this horse.
Yeah, he was going to do amateur bull surgery.
And
okay.
Eddie's 13 at the time.
He's mid-teenagers somewhere. I don't have an exact age in this one.
I mean, not in the fucking...
No, he's still asking a minor to do amateur bull surgery without education.
Well, I mean...
That's entirely legitimate.
All right.
So TJ did most of his business in the town of Cooper, Saskatchewan, and he wound up giving back to the community with his money. He donated sidewalks, but for the purpose of this story, the most important thing that he donated was a $4,000 ice skating rink. And as the sons of the benefactor, Aubrey and Eddie got their own keys to the rink and go skate whenever the hell they wanted. Right around this time, it was Aubrey Shore more than Eddie that was really taking advantage and focusing on it. As a kid, Eddie was more focused on baseball and soccer. He was considered a weak and wobbly skater at first, and he did have a chance to sub in for one of Aubrey's games, just because someone didn't show up, and Eddie said that he was just completely terrible. So when he was 16, his mother Kate passed, and TJ sent him to the Manitoba Agricultural College, where he wanted to become a veterinarian. But on the side, he did join the college's basketball team and the football team as the fullback and the kicker. But he started to hear more about hockey. Yeah, he did most of the kicking, was the phrase.
All right. So,
well, obviously, there's no puncher in football.
I mean, like, first off, the dude's legs got frozen to a horse, so like
that was 3 years ago.
I guess. Oh, my bad.
And there was a movie about this too. The guy with the garbage kicker shoe. I mean, you got all sorts of fucked up legs. You kick really, really good, apparently.
Oh my god. I mean, he also couldn't raise his arms above his fucking.
It's still at this point of the story.
He still can't do that, so I guess he really can't.
Okay, hold on. No, wait. So he's kicking with his arms straight down?
Yeah.
Like, is that a Minecraft?
He just can't raise them above his head.
Yeah, that makes more sense, because I'm like, otherwise, he, like, this becomes a matter of, this is the only position he can play. So that makes more sense. I do like the idea. I like the idea that he's out here like Minecraft Steve.
And he's just blowing through everyone. How does he do it?
Yeah, he's doing it. Oh, fuck.
So, at this time when he was off at the Manitoba Agricultural College was when Eddie started to hear more about hockey through the local Winnipeg Monarchs of the Manitoba Hockey Association. He heard about their star player Dick Irvin and how he could win games by himself, and that inspired Eddie to try out for the hockey team. He liked the sounds of that. Aubrey was already in the college hockey team and was doing Big Brother razzing, told him, "That's stupid, you're never going to make it," but that just motivated Eddie more. He started running every day, putting in a ton of time at the gym, practicing by himself on the ice. Sometimes he would just stand at center ice and just visualize himself body checking people.
Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Come on.
It's kind of, but this is also a super early era for organized sports, especially hockey. North America was still kind of figuring these things out. Yeah, at this point of the story,
stands in the middle and visualizes murder.
like he's just alone. I'm just picturing him alone, like in the dark.
All it needs is like slightly dark lights and a creepy soundtrack, and you've got the basis for every good slasher movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the violent tendencies for it. Like it feels like he's going a different direction.
But he's doing these things like this because there's not really any other infrastructure. Everyone who knows how to play at this point is pretty much taught themselves. The NHL is still not going to be a thing for like another 7 or 8 years, I think, for example. And leagues are forming and folding all the time. There's a future president of the NHL, Red Dutton, who said about Eddie, "No man ever coached him. He was a self-made player in every way, the architect of his own destiny."
Yeah. I mean, you see this in like early football too, right? Where it's like, there's not really the learning out process is just some guys just start playing and just like kind of
people are still learning how to learn the sport.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
So he was playing at the Manitoba Agricultural College, and they had an open air arena, and they were still way up in the northern plains, so they were playing in 30 degrees below or colder very often. Eddie recalled one time where it was 55 below and said their eyelashes froze so stiff they were almost blinded. So he played for a year at the Manitoba Agricultural College, transferred to St. John's College School in Winnipeg, but he only played a couple games before he dropped out of college around Christmas. Back in Cooper, the Cooper Hockey Club was in its second year of operations and doing pretty well for themselves, led by star player Aubrey Shore. On February 26th, they were set to host the yet undefeated Melville Millionaires for a 2-game series, and Eddie asked to join the team. The coach, Hebe Sellers, refused to put Eddie on the team. Even when he offered to cover his own expenses, the coach refused, but Eddie was persistent, and eventually, in time for the game, Eddie Shore convinced Hebe Sellers to let him play for the Cooper Hockey Club, suiting up at right wing. The Cooper Hockey Club beat the Melville Millionaires 9-3, with Eddie Shore scoring the last 4 goals of the game.
Right, okay.
Pretty good showing.
Yeah, this is not a goon. This is the guy who's actually like capable of scoring.
I mean, he's got to stick it to the Millionaires, right? He's just mad at his dad.
But I'm about to say, I didn't say anything when you said it, but the fucking Millionaires? What? Like, all right. Come on. We can get a better name.
There are so many worse names.
I mean, listen, back in that time, the dictionary was still kind of small, okay? They hadn't made 6-7 word of the year yet.
You're just going to be worse names? All right, fine.
So a few days later, just before the next game of the series starts, the Saskatchewan Amateur Hockey Association sent a letter saying that 3 players from Cooper, Eddie Shore among them, were being suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct and were not eligible to play.
Oh, we're starting early.
Allegedly, the 3 Cooper players had threatened violence on referee Corky Stein.
Okay, Corky.
The 3 players denied having threatened Stein, but they did make sure to mention that he was incompetent, had never played before, and was not capable of calling a game. Probably didn't help their case. Furthermore, the team argued these 3 players, Eddie included, were just not capable of acting in such a way. Threaten a ref? Never. The game went on, those players were not allowed to play, and during the second period, Cooper's goalie Lawrence Gordon got a puck to the face and had to leave the game. The referee was a man just known as Haywood, and he responded by immediately calling the game over, saying Melville won. And since they had more goals in the series, Melville immediately won the series, even though it was still the second period of the second game.
That's not what anything works.
Okay.
It may interest you in knowing that Haywood was the vice president of the Melville Millionaires.
Okay. All right. So they just okay. This is one of those things where the name Melville Millionaires kind of precedes their scumbag behavior. Right? You should have known that they were gonna buy the referee literally.
They didn't buy the referee, they had the referee.
He was
literally
which nobody even checked for that shit. Come on, man.
So naturally, they protested the officiating with the league. And the league did agree that was kind of bullshit. So TJ Shore rented a train to bring the team and a bunch of the town's residents to Regina for a neutral site for a series-deciding tiebreaker. But Melville won that 4-2, legitimately, as far as we can tell. Though they did hire plugs that the local newspaper complained were not playing purely for the love of the game.
Oh, wait. So they just got...
No, I think they went out and got a bunch of ringers.
Okay, all right.
You can't cheat one way, you'll cheat another.
And nobody noticed that none of these dudes were there the last time?
Hey, man, that big 270-pound gentleman, I did not see him. Okay. All right, man.
So now Eddie's got a taste for hockey. And so he started training harder than ever that offseason, determined to better himself. At times, he'd get supplies for the ranch by ice skating upriver 30 miles. One story goes that he would set up an oil barrel on a frozen pond, have 3 kids sit on it, then take a skating start and leap clean over all of them.
What?
I don't know about that one.
That's not gonna... Yeah, okay. So beyond the fact that I don't think it's gonna help you in professional hockey.
You see high jumpers make the move all the time.
Clearly, the problem with the Rangers is that we don't have players with the wherewithal and the dedication, and the hop.
So
are we gonna get back to where the meat plays in? Because at this point, where's the meat? Because why are you skating like this? Behind the barrels, over the barrel. We Mario. We gotta go jump to go get it.
He's actually a bear. This has been a bear. We've been talking about a bear this whole time. He needs some sort of bait to actually play hockey.
So, after a game or two with Cooper, Eddie left the team and joined the hockey team in his birthplace, Fort Capel. He only played about 2 games there, and then he had a very bad injury. The details of this are apparently lost to time, but he got injured bad enough in this game that he was told by the doctor he shouldn't move for 2 months. What? And TJ said that Eddie should quit hockey and come back to the ranch, but Eddie said, "I'll be skating again in a week." And so, 1 week after the doctor told him not to move for 2 months, Eddie woke up, got out of bed under his own power, then woke up again an hour later on the floor, having fallen down and knocked himself out the first time.
Oh, okay. See, I thought this was good. All right.
Yeah, that was a heroic story to be.
Okay.
But he did try again, and he did get himself downstairs. And ultimately, 2 weeks after his injury, he was back to playing hockey. When Capel's season ended, he joined the nearby team Indian Head, where a local fan told him, "Too bad, you won't be able to make a hockey player out of yourself." But Eddie Shore was never one to let others tell him what he couldn't do, and told him, "That's your opinion, not mine." So when the season ended, he took up a section of TJ's land, and he grew wheat as a summer job. On December 15th that year, TJ Shore was found dead in the barn of the family's ranch.
What the fuck?
He invested heavily in a British Columbia bolt factory that went under, and he lost everything. He literally bet the ranch on it and didn't have a penny left to his name that wasn't owed to others, leading to him hanging himself in the barn before a meeting with investors.
Oh, fuck.
There was
darkness.
Yeah, there was nothing left in the estate for his children's inheritance, and so Eddie was left penniless along with the rest of his siblings. He never talked much about his father.
Pause.
Yeah.
Guy owns a farm. Guy makes cows that are punchable.
He makes cows.
Guy has children and then bets money on bolts.
Yep.
Like that screw things together.
Okay, when you put it like that. Yeah,
yeah, all right. Yep, not surprised.
If I want to throw out a really specific devil's advocate, I think this is like 1918 or something. I could see maybe you're like, yeah, wartime production. The army needs those bolts, and then the war ends.
That's a good point. And then you're like, oh shit, I probably should have.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a part of it. Wartime industry.
You know, you say that, but we kind of still have bolts today.
But you need a lot less of them when the army isn't buying them all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, still, that's still fun, man. Jesus.
So, Eddie didn't really talk much about his father throughout the rest of his life. Aubrey was completely devastated. He eventually would get a look at the NHL that would get taken away because he had a severe drinking problem that he developed from this point forward. And so this was the year where Eddie Shore started to hit his stride as a hockey player and eclipsed his brother as Cooper's best player. He played both right wing and right defense and was the best at the team on both. He was known for his powerful shot and his powerful hits. As the physical star of the team, he was targeted by other teams who knew his quality. But this is a man who drove cattle in 60 degrees below zero when barely a teenager and who skated through a 2-month injury in 2 weeks. He injured his hip later that season, and a doctor told him he would never play again, but Eddie was back to playing hockey for Cooper in under a month.
Yeah, you guys gotta listen, doctors. You're trying to stop this man, and you're lucky he's not punching you in the face. This guy is determined to play hockey.
I think if this doctor used the same thing as the file system in early Windows computers. When you asked it to copy from one thing to the other and said, oh, it'll be done in 34 years, this guy obviously has no idea how long it takes to heal.
Yeah, back then, this may or may not have actually been a licensed doctor. We don't actually know. Or maybe this was this doctor was from the Melville Millionaires. Same
you can never play again.
Yeah, like he's just been trying to get him off the ice this whole time.
Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. You just can't play anymore. Ever.
Hey, wait a minute. You look familiar. I swear I saw you.
When that hockey season finished, Eddie Shore entered the offseason for the first time with no job, no home, and no money. He tried his hand at a number of jobs, mining prospector, auto mechanic, and some carpentry here and there. But above all else, Eddie Shore wanted to be a hockey player. The problem he had was that most leagues in the area didn't pay. That season, Eddie Shore did not play organized hockey, probably because he couldn't afford to. Still, he wanted to be a professional player, and as the next season approached, a team came calling that knew his quality, wanted his services, and was willing to pay for them. The Melville Millionaires.
Oh my god.
No way. See, that's what it was the whole time.
It was actually.
All they just stop. Stop playing. We want you to be healthy. We're going to buy you later, honey.
I bet, just all of a sudden, Doc's like, nah, he's been in the best shape of his life. He's great. He can play, get him suited up right now. But, in real talk, though, it is interesting to, hear, even back then, how it really was expensive to play hockey, apparently, right? I mean, we have that problem now where,
a lot of poor families get priced out.
Yeah. And apparently it was sort of similar back then, right?
Yeah.
Basketball, you just need a
ball and a hoop.
And
with hockey, you need skates, you need a stick, and you need a puck, bare minimum.
Yeah. And again, you really kind of need people to play with.
Yeah.
If you really want to actually practice. So it's kind of interesting just how how little things have changed, from then to now. So
the Melville Millionaires had just joined a higher level league, and even though it was against the rules of an amateur league, they offered to pay Eddie Shore $5 a game to play for him and to get him a job outside of hockey games. Coach Goldie Smith asked Eddie what job he wanted for his paycheck, and he suggested he become a barber because they smell nice.
Okay.
A week later, he came back and asked for something different, saying, quote, "The customers complain. I cut them up too much."
Why couldn't he just be like a fucking vet or
Side
something?
project is Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
So instead, he was given work shoveling coal for the Canadian National Railway.
Oh, okay. Well, that... Shit.
He said, "Even if I was firing an engine and only playing in my spare time, there was nothing I wanted so much as to be a professional. I was sure I'd make the grade. They couldn't stop me if they wanted to." Melville's biggest rival was the 10th Saskatchewan Battery. As far as I can tell, a lot of military units would just form local sports teams. When the two teams played, the Battery knew Eddie's quality and they targeted him all game. Quote, "They just started clubbing me over the head. Someone threw a bunch of water at me. I had 12 or 14 stitches taken to my head." He was knocked unconscious that game 3 times.
What? What? Wait. He was knocked unconscious 3 times?
Yeah.
Not like, oh, okay.
No, like clean. Also, he did not see anything. He was no longer conscious.
And
3 times
so
in the
a
same
dead
game.
body stands up and nobody questions it.
Yeah, like,
Throws them back out there. No fucks. Okay.
Also, this was not like hockey. These were not like hockey plays. Like, he's saying that some guy...
Yeah, he said they clubbed me over the head.
Yeah, like with the stick.
And that they threw water at him. Which, not an injury, but that's still kind of egregious.
That's weird. Yeah, that's weird.
Alright, so this is either WWE or Looney Tunes, because... No!
You're saying this at the 30-minute mark. You need to calm down.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my God.
In a later game against the Winnipeg Monarchs, Shore laid a devastating hit on a Monarchs player who got flipped upside down in the collision, his skate going in the air, lacerating part of Eddie's scalp, resulting in 4 stitches. What? In the second period, Eddie got knocked onto the ice where Monarchs players took turns hitting him in the stomach before the ref noticed.
I'm sorry. You got the Iron Lotus to the group. Oh my god.
Well, because you figure at the time, they didn't have cameras and they had one ref, so as soon as he turns his back, it's fair game.
Okay, actually...
Okay, but hold on. Because the first period, he gets his scalp chopped off. What has he got, like a bench-side medic just ready to suture his head closed?
I mean, that's not weird for hockey today. People get stitches in the bench all the time.
True. But he just... you know.
I wasn't aware how appropriate Brandon's remark of "this is WWE" that this was going to be, because this actually feels like some wrestling.
All right, so in the first period, guy gets flipped upside down, cuts his scalp, 4 stitches. Second period, they knock him to the ice, and as soon as the ref turns his back, they all start taking turns hitting him with the stomach.
All right.
So from that point of the game, Eddie lost all memory of the game. He does not remember the third period or the rest of the second. But he kept playing. And in the third period, he was knocked unconscious again.
Oh my god.
And he was finally brought out of the game after having played 50 minutes. He had a broken jaw, a broken nose, and was missing 6 teeth.
No.
So
No.
he regains consciousness when the final buzzer rings. And that's when he thinks, that's the starting buzzer. The game is starting. I should get ready. So the rest of the millionaires file into the locker room after a hard-fought battle, and they see Eddie putting on his skates, and they ask, "Eddie, where are you going?" And he says he's getting ready to play, and they tell him the game is over, to which Eddie Shore replies, "The hell it is!" And Eddie and his team then argue over whether or not they are in the middle of a hockey game.
Oh dear.
Later of this incident, Eddie Shore would state that, quote, "Playing practically a full game without any recollection of it, I would regard as the most outstanding experience of my career." Remember that as this story goes on.
Okay, but hold on, because that's like an alcoholic saying that's the greatest night of my life. I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
You know he's going back.
And
we have to skip over the fact you said he played 50 minutes.
50 minutes. A lot of players would just play the full game in this era.
But 50 minutes. Like, when they even have time to stitch his head closed, did they pause?
That's the 10 minutes.
Or did they skate along with him? They were on the ice.
I mean, if you want to know, like, again, like the modern day player, I think the highest you'll see.
It's incredible if someone plays over 30 minutes today.
30 yeah, even like
that is honestly, the best defenseman in the league, like playing extra time.
Okay, so the irony behind that, then, right, is that the millionaires had no money, so they had no lines, so these guys had to suffer anyway. First line, no, fuck it, you're all lines. Have a nice day.
Holy shit.
So, much like every team before them, Eddie Shore is becoming the standout star of the Melville Millionaires. Even though he was mostly a defenseman, he could lead the attack and score goals with the best forwards in the team. I'm sure I don't need to say anything about his toughness at this point. The Millionaires ended up beating the Saskatoon Nationals to become the Northern Saskatchewan Senior Champions and were set to face the Regina Victorias in a 3-game series where I guess their amateur leagues had like a Champions League kind of thing going on.
Okay, that's what I was going to... Okay, gotcha.
They played a couple of 1-goal games and split the series, and they would have a deciding third game in Saskatoon, and Eddie Shore was at the center of it with the opposing team's enforcers looking to take him out of the game. He was carried off the ice in the first period after a headshot by a Regina player, then came back for the second period in time to be knocked unconscious twice more before the period ended.
What? Before the period ended?
So, knocked unconscious once in the first, twice in the second.
We haven't even really talked about the last... I mean, however many concussions you got the last game, right? Like, just...
Normally...
Guy is going to have CTE. So, oh my fuck.
Normally, the aggressive and physically dominant Shore would have fought back, but Coach Goldie Smith made him promise he would avoid committing penalties and stay on the ice. He needed him to play hockey, not sit in the box.
Okay, well, he's going to die otherwise, though, because, like, let him defend himself.
After 2 5-minute overtimes, Eddie Shore rushed down the right side of the ice, blasted a shot, and saw the puck brush the twine of the net. But the goal judge ruled that the puck hit the outside of the net, not the inside. The home fans wanted a goal, were furious at having one taken away, and the goal judge had to be ushered out of the arena and replaced for his own safety. Ultimately, the Victorias scored and beat Eddie Shore's team in the 6th overtime. For the 3rd year in a row, he was on the precipice of the top championship of his league and narrowly missed out.
He forgot to say that Eddie played 85 minutes that game.
Oh my god, he might have actually...
I mean...
I'm sure he played more than that in 6 overtimes.
Holy shit.
So at this point, he was getting worried that his chance to be a pro hockey player was slipping away. He didn't want to be stuck as an amateur his whole career, but he was starting to get worried that if he didn't break into the pros soon, it was never going to happen. So that summer, he was determined to find a way to go pro, and he decided he would go to Vancouver, find the offices of Vancouver Maroons, and ask for a meeting with manager Frank Patrick. After driving the secretary crazy by emphatically pleading his case, Shore got his meeting. But Frank Patrick was not impressed with Eddie. Eddie said that he'd played better than Gizzy Hart, a star for the Victoria Cougars that played with Frank Patrick's brother and future namesake of the MVP award, Lester Patrick. He offered to cover his own expenses and try it with no contract for free, but the best he got was Patrick saying that if Eddie was still in town come training camp, I'll look you over. But Eddie couldn't afford to stay in Vancouver that long, and he couldn't afford a trip back to Vancouver if he left, so he knew that the Vancouver Maroons were not his path to going pro. On his way back, he tried to get a tryout with the Calgary Tigers of the WCHL, and he didn't get an offer there either. So he was headed back to Saskatchewan. But thanks to Goldie Smith pleading his case, Eddie got the tryout for the WCHL's Regina Capitals. At training camp, those players really liked to push Eddie around. Because remember when he was playing for Melville, Eddie played against a team that was also from Regina, and he got bullied a lot because he promised the coach that he wasn't going to fight back. So the Capitals players thought that Eddie was a weak little coward.
See, this is why you can't do that. You gotta.
That's how you die. No, stop it.
Yeah.
More than that, Eddie was a non-rostered amateur, so Regina would have to drop a player in order to sign him. They were all worried about losing their jobs.
He's gonna go drop a player.
So they all roughed him up and targeted him in practice to try to cover their own jobs, but he fought back and established his reputation, and So on December 8th, 1924, Eddie Shore was officially a professional hockey player, playing his first game on a $1,000 contract, alongside the man that inspired him in the first place, Dick Irvin. After a physical game in Calgary where Eddie was targeted, as he always was, by the defensive pairing of Red Dutton and Herb Gardner, the Regina Morning Herald would praise Shore's toughness and state him to be the most promising prospect that has broken into pro hockey since the organization of the WCHL, even better than Gizzy Hart of the Victoria Cougars. A few days later, Shore found himself playing against Frank Patrick's Vancouver Maroons, where Patrick asked Regina coach Wes Champ, "Who's that new guy you got there? I've seen him somewhere before this." Could have been yours, Frank.
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, now
he's gotten beat up so much his face probably doesn't even look the same.
So this is where Eddie picked up one of his first nicknames, the Galloping Cowboy, for the way that he bowled through players and just skated over them.
All right.
Who is watching this game?
Yeah. Listen. All right, Sean. This is something back then. There are no there's nothing to do back then. Okay, there's not a whole lot of things to entertain. All right, people will watch this. People will absolutely watch this shit.
And call him a cowboy?
Cowboy doesn't gallop the horse. Okay. All right, whatever.
Ultimately, the Regina Capitals finished their season, though, by losing 10 games in a row with a dog wandering onto the ice the last game.
What? Wait, you buried the lead a little. What?
Yeah, apparently a dog just wandered onto the ice in the last game of a 10-game losing streak to finish the season. The Regina Capitals did not finish that season gracefully.
Okay. Was the dog just was he
that means everybody left. Everybody gave up.
Except the dog. Is he airbutting it? The dog is playing with him? What's happening? I need to know if he's actually on the ice during action, or if he's just kind of everybody just straight up left, like Shatzone just said here. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, in Edmonton, the Western Hockey League's Eskimos announced their plans to relocate, with the team manager Ken McKenzie citing financial reasons. But after a huge outpouring of community support and pledges for season tickets, McKenzie announced the Eskimos would stay. But it was mid-November already, the season started December 10th, and they needed more players. They weren't exactly stocking up given the expectation of moving the team. By this point, with the season just a couple weeks away, only 3 players had practiced, and there were only 7 men on the roster. So McKenzie was taking a lot of train trips to scout for more players with the season right over the horizon. His captain, Duke Keats, had one particular player in mind. Quote, "There was this little guy from Regina who didn't play much, but when he did, he gave it to me good. I told my partner, Ken McKenzie, get that little runt. I want him on our club." McKenzie wasn't too hot on the idea. He thought Eddie was too inexperienced as a pro player, but he trusted Keats, and he really needed another defenseman. So Ken McKenzie traded Joe McCormick and Bob Trapp for Eddie and Art Gagne. And this is where we're going to take our first little side quest, because I've already brought up that a lot of people were taking summer jobs. Eddie did that a lot. So Joe McCormick, who was traded for Eddie Shore, had a very interesting summer job. Quote from the Edmonton Journal. Joe McCormick, right winger of the Eskimo hockey team, is back in the city after having spent the summer with an Alberta government research party in the Badlands in the southern part of the province. Joe says the heat here during the past weekend was cool compared to that which his party encountered in the south, where Joe was engaged digging up dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals.
So this guy was a goddamn archaeologist.
Yeah, he had a side job as a paleontologist. That was his summer gig.
Surely the archaeologist position is a little bit better paying than the hockey one, right? I feel like you maybe should just stick with that, but...
Yeah, but how are you going to get out your rage? You can't punch dinosaur bones.
Just not finding any dinosaur bones for a couple of days makes him just violently angry. So I guess he just has to go back to hockey. All right.
In the Eskimos' first game of the season, as with everywhere he went, the opposing crowd hated Eddie Shore, and the opposing team's tough guys roughed him up all night. But the paper said the strongest part of the team was the defensive pairing of the tough as violin strings Eddie Shore and the 5'6", 156-pound Johnny the Fightin' Midget Shepherd.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's allowed.
There are many instances where the paper just referred to him as the midget.
Okay.
No, not even saying his name.
All right.
So this is where Eddie picked up what would become his primary nickname over the years, the Edmonton Express. He was lauded for his performance on Christmas 1925, where one play is really the image of Eddie Shore. He, late in the game, started a rush, beat the defense in his own, deked the goalie badly out of position, then missed the net because of blood dripping down his face into his eyes. In February, Eddie made the league's all-star team, and in the February 11th edition of the Edmonton Journal, a journalist wrote a poem dedicated to Eddie Shore.
What?
We muse on Duke of Keats and his hockey athletes, and we find the thought recurring o'er and o'er. What a lucky strike was made when the S-Commander paid for the services of brawny Eddie Shore. It's been Shore, 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 the boy who shows defensemen how to score. You can hear the foeman cracking when young Edward is attacking and the writhing pop-eyed fans begin to roar. It was also 5 times longer than that, but I'm not reading all of that.
Okay, thank you, because that really sucks.
Stunned silence, yeah, that's...
It's really nice that the journalist wrote him a poem, though.
We don't have enough of that in hockey nowadays.
Yeah, who's writing poems for Connor McDavid these days?
He's I guarantee you we can find a poem about LeBron James. If I look on the internet, I can find...
Man, you're gonna rule 42
on the internet,
yourself
of course.
with that.
Are you seeing it like in the New York Times? Are you seeing the Times publish poetry?
I mean, let me search.
Is Bleacher Report even as garbage as they are? Is Bleacher Report coming out and going, "Hey, here's a poem for LeBron James"?
If Bleacher Report doesn't have a poem about LeBron James, then I am no longer a fan of the Bleacher Report.
SB Nation might. SB Nation might. I could see
that.
Yeah,
I was about to say, hold on. I actually think let me look for a minute.
So on March 10th, the Eskimos clinched a first-round playoff berth with a win over the Maroons, and were chomping at the bit for the chance to play for the Stanley Cup. But on March 16th, there was a mishap at practice. Eddie Shore, quote, Bobby Benson was playing defense, and as I came down the ice, I tried to step around him, and he hooked my skate, and I went into the boards with my right leg under me. When I hit the boards, my right skate went into my left leg, and the skate was buried there.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
Eddie got 14 stitches from a 2-inch cut and a doctor's order not to play hockey for 6 months.
Stop telling this man to stop.
And so he walked back onto the ice.
It's making him stronger. Stop.
It's making him stronger.
He's like a Saiyan. Please stop doing this.
So Eddie left the hospital on crutches and went right to the team's train to accompany them for a Western road trip. On the way, his leg got infected.
Oh my God.
On the way, his leg got infected, and his leg was so swollen that it was an ordeal just to put pants on. It was very apparent how important Eddie Shore was to the team, the way people responded to his injury. He was on a boat to Victoria, trying to keep his leg limber, hobbling around in clutches, when a fan, who was allegedly a doctor, told him, "Gotta play tonight, Eddie." Understandably, he asked, how is he supposed to do that? And the doctor replied, "Put the foot down and start walking."
Okay. The fact that we are just now into the story, getting our first fake doctor, is incredible considering the things that we have heard.
My sources all said he's a doctor. I refuse to believe that man is a doctor with that advice.
No,
yeah, this is Dr. Pepper, okay?
Yeah, dude, come on.
So after that unhelpful advice, Shore's teammates Art Gagne and Johnny Shepard joined him on the dock, and they started teasing him about how he was hobbling around. They grabbed his crutches and started playing a bit of keep away when Art Gagne mused, "I wonder if a crutch would float."
Oh, no.
And then each one of them threw one of Eddie's crutches overboard.
What are they doing?
Art told him, "You've got enough stuff to walk even without any legs, Eddie, let alone crutches." In the March 19th, 1926 edition of the Edmonton Bulletin, Eddie Shore said he was going to play the next game if it was the last thing he did on Earth.
I wouldn't say that.
No, this is starting to sound like mythology.
At Game Start, Eddie was not in the opening lineup because he was getting painkiller shots directly to the wound in the locker room, joining play 2 minutes into the game. Victoria reads the papers. News gets around, so they know that Eddie's got a bum leg, and they're going after him all night. By the end of the game, the rest of his stitches came out, and blood was soaking his pants and socks.
God.
The Eskimos lost 3-1, and Eddie blamed himself. Less than 2 days later, the Eskimos were getting ready to play another game versus the Cougars, and Eddie still wanted to play. A doctor told him that if he did, he could lose the leg. What do you guys think happened?
Can't imagine.
Well, we don't know if this doctor's real either, so, I mean, who knows?
Eddie Shore played the game and scored a goal, but Eskimos lost 5-3, ending the season.
Okay, so, I mean, the rest of the Eskimos suck. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the rest of you doing? Like, help them out, man. Jesus Christ.
During the offseason, Eddie was seen playing a pickup baseball game with the team, and he forgot his gloves, so he was fielding fly balls barehanded.
What the fuck is wrong with this?
That does happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But
okay.
I mean,
not by choice, usually, by necessity.
No.
Yeah.
It's not like, I didn't bring my glove. I'm good. I'm going to make a very unfortunate side note as I was reading these newspapers. The Edmonton Eskimos fan base were very fond of their captain, Duke Keats, to the degree where they referred to the team as the Keats Clan, and they did alliterate a K to start both of these words.
No. Can't do that.
On a couple of occasions, they decided they could just shorten it to saying the Clan.
Nope.
Still spelled with a K.
Nope, yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
I was regular.
Yeah. So the Clan Enforcer, fantastic.
So all season, Kenny McKenzie was complaining about losing money, and in May, the Edmonton Eskimos were sold. The entire league was folded that season, and the teams of the NHL, which was by now the biggest league in the game, scrambled to acquire the now unemployed talent of the defunct league. The entire league at once was bought and divvied up by a group investment from Boston, Detroit, and Chicago. Considered the best of them was Eddie Shore, whose Bruins owner Charles Adams called the best scoring defenseman in organized hockey. Needless to say, Eddie was a tough guy. But he was not the only very rough player that Charles Adams and Art Ross brought in for the 1926-27 season. I'm going to give you another really quick side quest to talk about two of Eddie's future defensive partners to give you an idea of what he's coming up against in training camp. Billy Coutu and Sprague Cleghorn, who is one of the top names of this episode.
Sprague Cleghorn.
Sprague Cleghorn. Sprague.
Holy shit.
There would come a time later in this season when Toronto's enforcer Bill Bridge would go after Sprague Cleghorn. He, according to Conn Smythe, coach of Toronto, was going after him with the knee, the elbow, and the stick. But Cleghorn paid no attention. He just waited. Then the time came, and he did straighten out Mr. Bridge. He just made a mess of him. 50 stitches.
50 stitches?
I don't know what he did, but...
Yeah.
In a past game against the Ottawa Senators, King Clancy would trick Cleghorn by calling for the puck despite being in the opposite team. It worked, and the crowd cheered Clancy and laughed at Sprague. Cleghorn was pissed, and he glared at Clancy from across the ice.
Oh, shit.
But he didn't do anything yet. When the period ended, King Clancy was walking off the ice, and he heard someone shout, "Oh, King!" and turned around to see Cleghorn swinging a stick at his head. The last thing he saw that game.
Bro, this is WWE. Stop lying.
What the fuck? That went from actual cartoon, King shit to he came out into the fucking crowd. He tried to kill him. What the fuck, dude?
Detroit's Jack Adams would one day call Cleghorn an unwashed surgeon, and Sprague Cleghorn would trade notes with his fellow NHL player brother Odie on which NHL players had it coming.
Odie.
They would send each other lists.
What the fuck?
Finally, one more side quest. March 8th, 1923, in a game where the Ottawa Senators played the Montreal Canadiens, who rostered both Sprague Cleghorn and Billy Coutu. Early on, Coutu just got in the face of opposing player Cy Denny, and after some shouting, just punched him in the face for no reason. Cleghorn came over, and in defense of Coutu, told Denny he'd get what's coming to him. Soon after that, Cleghorn got a possibly accidental penalty for hitting King Clancy over the head, as the crowd threw newspapers, apples, lemons, and coins onto the ice. Shortly after that, Coutu found himself on the ice with Denny again, and made contact in a wide swing of his stick to the back of Denny's head, quote, with a blow that might have killed him.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Shortly after that, Cleghorn hit Ottawa player Lionel Hitchman with the butt end of his stick, taking him out of the game with a cut near the eye. The Montreal Star declared that game the greatest hockey riot ever seen, and Coutu alone finished the game with 42 penalty minutes.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me that they made NFL Street, but not NHL? Come on.
They made NHL hits.
They made hits, yeah. Now,
involving actual decapitation, like what?
I'm about to say, like NHL hits did not. It really missed these kind of games here. It really probably should have looked up this.
The option to go beat the other team after the buzzer is rung.
Like he's just like 2 stick swinging incidents happened within 2 games right there. 2 chances to just murder a guy. Like what are we doing?
And back in the origin of the league, like those weren't sticks. Those were composite. Those were fucking 2x4s.
Flex.
No,
dude.
There is no give in these things.
I'm surprised we have not heard of more like dead players from back then. That's crazy. Like,
so
I mean, technically, snitches get stitches, and they're all full of stitches. So, like, perhaps there's a reason why.
Christ, man.
So, while Eddie may have been tough, you can see he's about to skate alongside some pretty stiff competition as he goes into training camp.
Yeah, you mean psychopaths? All right.
Yeah. And Billy Coutu, who was an asshole, had a problem with Eddie, telling him, oh, all you Western hockey players think you're so tough. He had a grudge against Western Canadian players, thinking they were really uppity and tried to act more tough than they were. Eddie tells him, look, I'm just here to earn a job. Not your job, just a job. But veteran defenseman Billy Coutu is at least a little bit of a psychopath, and he's not about to let this young upstart show him up physically. So throughout training camp, Billy Coutu is really going after Eddie all the time, singling him out, doing everything he can to knock him off his game. They get to one practice near the end of training camp. Coutu rushes down the ice, shoots off a pass, then turns with all of his momentum and tries to take down Eddie Shore, who braced for impact. But even though he had about 30 pounds on his prey, Coutu got laid out. Quote Shore, he bounced back about 8 feet and went down, got up and sank down, got up again and went down. The third time he went down, he stayed down. In decisive fashion, Eddie had gotten the better of one of the league's more vicious physical players. But he did not get out unscathed himself. Where they made contact, Coutu's head crashed off the side of his and tore his ear almost completely off, just left it hanging by a thin strap of skin.
Oh.
The team doctor told Eddie it'll never grow back again. There's nothing I can do about it. Eddie says, it'll grow back, sew it on. The doctor refused, so Eddie has the team trainer tape the ear down to his neck so that it doesn't fall off. And from the hours of 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., he wandered the streets of Boston looking for a doctor who was willing to sew his ear back on.
Oh my God.
Finally, near the end of office hours, he finds one, and the doctor asks him, what kind of anesthesia do you want, gas or local? Eddie says, I want a mirror. So the doctor gets him a little small hand mirror and goes, now what? And Eddie goes, just start sewing. So the doctor is sewing Eddie Shore's ear back on while he's just inspecting him doing it through a hand mirror. And when the doctor finishes, Eddie tells him, that last one was done wrong. You need to take it out and do it again.
What do you mean?
And the doctor goes, oh, you're a surgeon? You know more than I do? And Eddie says, yes, I know more than you do. Take it out.
I mean, to be fair to Eddie, at this point, he has not gotten
reliable
medical advice from anybody who's a doctor. So
this dude actually is undead.
I frequently refer to him as indestructible during my research.
But he's taking damage. It's just it means nothing. So he could be destroyed. He is just not interested. He is simply uninterested in anything that hurts him. It doesn't matter. Holy shit.
So on December 23rd, Boston traveled to Montreal to play the Maroons. And by the way, you were criticizing Millionaires earlier. That's a much better name than the Maroons.
The Maroons. Yeah, sorry.
That was probably a fancy new color that had just been invented, okay?
Also, there was a lot of Maroons. There was not a lot of Millionaires. There was the Vancouver Maroons that he applied for in the WCHL. And at this point, there's the Montreal Maroons in the NHL.
What the fuck is a maroon? They can't just mean the color.
They might.
Oh my God. Fuck.
So don't put that past him. Come on now.
So on December 23rd, Boston traveled to Montreal to play the Maroons. After Montreal scored the first goal, the game started getting scrappy, with the teams trading interference and high stick penalties. Montreal was playing the net very aggressively, causing trouble for Boston goalie Dr. Charles Stewart. who, yes.
Doctor!
No way.
Who, yes,
that's
was
a fake doctor, too.
No, he was a real doctor.
Bullshit.
He was a dentist.
That's not a doctor! Nah, man. No.
So the game was delayed for 10 minutes after Dr. Stewart took a shot to the face. And again, goalies didn't wear masks at this point.
Well, I mean, if he lost any teeth, then he's a
right, yeah.
You know,
which,
great profession to have.
Fun fact that I noticed about this part is that apparently before goalies had masks, it was not a super common thing, but apparently a regular thing where a goalie would get shot in the face and then the ref just goes like, all right, we're taking 10 minutes, everyone. Goalie needs a minute. We're taking a 10.
Okay. At least they knew even back then, like, okay, we gotta, like, this guy just took, like, a 100-mile-per-hour putt to the mouth. We gotta, like, all right, fair.
When play resumed, Dr. Stewart saved a shot by Montreal player Punch Broadbent, and his teammate Nell Stewart rushed the net in case of a loose puck. Now, in hockey, one of the internal rules, you always protect your goalie. He's not part of the physical game. So, Eddie just saw his goalie take that puck to the face and be pretty vulnerable. And then he sees Nell Stewart rush the doctor, and so Eddie sees that, runs in, and floors Nell Stewart, then just starts whacking him with his stick. Sprague Cleghorn sees this, skates over to help Eddie, and jumps on top of Nels and just starts punching him in the face while Eddie hits him with his stick. Incredibly, Nell Stewart did not get an injury other than losing a tooth.
Okay.
Although the papers did make sure to note that he was not more seriously injured about the body was no fault of Eddie Shore and his hockey stick.
He was trying. I mean, to be fair, this was like, compared to the other shit that we've been hearing, where people are trying to, like, take baseball swings at people's heads. I mean, that's fucking...
No, he's swinging at a guy who's laying down on the ground, who is far more concerned with the man who is in full mount throwing fists at his face.
This is an encoded version of a mafia hitman's life.
I'm still not, like, Brandon is right. I'm still not convinced that this is actually a hockey player. This may not be hockey at all. You just fooled us all into, like, reading into a fucking WWE story.
So Eddie was sent to the box with a major penalty as the crowd threw coins and newspapers at him and Sprague, who was not penalized.
What's going on with the crowd? This is the second time.
Sprague Cleghorn got no penalty for this. When the timekeeper told Eddie he was in the box for 5 minutes, he replied, "Is that all?" Yeah, fair.
What?
Yeah.
By January 25th, 1927, in his first season, Eddie Shore was 5th in the NHL in points and led defenseman scoring. Shortly after this, he would get suspended for a couple games for receiving his third major penalty after yelling at a referee, a thing that the Cooper Hockey Club said he was not capable of doing.
Okay. That's the thing that's the line that they're going to draw? Okay. But, like, I'd like to point out, it was impressive that
they suspended him for that because there was apparently a rule in the NHL at the time that if you get 3 major penalties, you get suspended.
Okay. It's kind of like right now in the NBA, if you get, I think you get, like, 16 technical fouls, you are, like, automatically suspended a game. What I was going to say, it's pretty impressive that he's, like, you said he's 5th in the league in scoring?
Yeah. At the midway point as a rookie.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. And now he's been suspended, right? Like, that's actually incredible.
Especially, like, when do you get time to score goals when you're busy beating everybody's ass?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's spending, like, so much time in the box. Like, he is scoring at a pretty ridiculous clip for what it is back then, at least. So, you can't really... I feel bad for calling him a goon. Apparently, that's just not what he is. So.
No, he's a very talented player who also enjoyed violence.
Also, yeah, I mean, it has to be said, he is just swinging his stick around like a fucking baseball bat. So, I mean...
So the Bruins would make a bunch of trades in the midseason after they were slumping a little bit. They shipped out Dr. Charles Stewart because it turns out he was an alcoholic dentist and he was going through withdrawal.
Oh. What? Whatever.
Yeah, he was getting the jitters during games, was what I was reading.
Bro, because he just took a puck to the face. What do you mean?
It was from different game. It was just in general, this was happening a lot. It was said that he had a drinking problem and he was getting the jitters from too much or too little alcohol.
What is this before they goalies remembered you could put a water bottle on top of the net? I mean,
yeah,
you know,
he was actually just drinking mid-game.
this is a vodka water bottle. Let's go.
Fuck.
So Boston arrived.
Lost the doctor.
So Boston arrived in New York for their first round matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks because the Blackhawks were a new team and didn't actually have their own arena yet, so they just played in New York. Okay. Coach Art Ross was determined to ice a fresh, competitive team, and so he ordered his players to avoid taking in the nightlife. As Ross sat with a few players in the hotel lobby playing cards, Eddie Shore was in a side room very badly playing a saxophone. So, in the first round, Chicago goes down to Boston after suffering a tie and a 6-1 blowout loss. Entering the second round, Boston faced the New York Rangers. They would have a 0-0 tie in Game 1. And going into Game 2, the Boston Globe predicted that the team that plays hockey tonight is going to win.
Oh, wow. Great analysis.
Yeah, hard-hitting stuff. As it turns out, the Boston Bruins would play hockey that night, beating the Rangers 3-1 in a game that had 27 penalty minutes, 14 of which belonged to Eddie Shore.
What the... Oh, my God.
The Bruins
Eddie
would
still
advance...
managed to play 60 minutes.
The Bruins would advance to face the Ottawa Senators for the 1927 Stanley Cup. The first game of the finals was a defensive battle. The lone time a goalie was beaten, referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme waved the goal off, saying he'd already blown the whistle. Do you want to guess if referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme was a real doctor?
All right, so...
A real doctor! What's this?
He was another dentist.
No. Oh my God, why are there so many... What is this dentist a hockey pipeline?
It turns out that he and Dr. Charles Stewart both played on a rec league where every team was a particular profession before they were in the NHL, and they were on a team called the Dentists.
Okay, that's appropriate, okay, fine. So then they just found, 10 dentists, and they just,
These guys just keep showing up.
They just...
So, after 3 overtimes in the first game, both teams were exhausted, and the game was called a tie because owner Charles Adams told the league president it would be inhuman to continue. The day before the fourth game of the series, Eddie played a saxophone all day and night at the hotel.
Oh my God.
One columnist noted that his playing, quote, spoiled that trip for the hockey scribes, for his saxophone solos completely neutralized the effects of all the scotch and soda they had consumed.
Psychological affair with saxophone.
Oh my God.
Boston needed to win the fourth game, but they fell further behind, and frustration with the referees grew. In the second period, Sailor Herbert was given a major penalty for making a rude gesture with his stick at referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme, a phrase that it just delights me to say.
I have to know what...
Referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme. It's just beautiful.
It's amazing. What could he have possibly... I'm trying to think of what gesture he made with his stick.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely the cute little one where you ride it around like a broom. He just got offended.
I thought about the NHL celebration where he does the...
Fuck you, man!
So, by the time the period had ended, the Bruins trailed 2-0, and a reporter heard Art Ross say, "There will be something doing when the game finished." As the game wound down, Boston was down 3-1, and with 5 minutes remaining, things escalated. After going at it with each other all night, the Bruins' Lionel Hitchman knocked George Boucher to the ice, and Boucher, known for having a temper, got up and charged at Hitchman, whacking him with his stick. The benches cleared for a full-team brawl. Hooley Smith, looking for Eddie but finding the wrong man, swung a punch at Harry Oliver, who was known for just being a really nice guy who didn't deserve that, and broke his nose. Shore saw this, raced up, and was about to hit Smith himself when he had flashbacks of killing steers with a stick as a boy on TJ's ranch, causing him to pull the strike into a light tap.
Okay.
As the mess was getting cleared up, Ross demanded an explanation from referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme why Smith only got a minor. He was ignored, fanning the flames. Boston would lose 3-1, ending their series with 2 losses and 2 ties. As the players filed into the locker room to decompress from their loss, Art Ross came into the dressing room and declared, quote, "The first man who gets that referee gets a $500 bonus." And everyone rushed out of the room.
Oh my God.
My goodness.
On his way back to his dressing room, referee Dr. Jerry Laflamme found himself surrounded by gold jerseys.
Holy shit.
In the chaos, it's hard to tell for sure who all was involved in the ambush, but most sources seem to agree that at the head of the pack were owner Charles Adams and Billy Coutu, the recipient of the $500 ambush prize.
It's rigged. Hold on. He just paid. He hired a pack of assassins and only paid one. That's genius.
No, he said, the first man. That's what he said.
First man. Yeah. So by the way, again, this is some WWE shit. He actually sent out a hit on the referee, which again, we don't hear about this kind of thing ever. So he just actually tried to kill him. What the fuck?
The chaos only slowed down when referee Dr. Jerry LaFlamme's fellow referee Billy Bell intervened. While Adams would get away with his actions, claiming he got there too late to do anything, Billy Couture got a lifetime ban from the NHL. Okay, good. All right, I wanted to know if there were some fucking consequences, because holy shit. Not for the owner, because his defense was, I would have, but...
Not for him.
Not for a lack of trying, let me tell you. Eddie and the rest of his teammates got a $10,000 bonus for their playoff performance, and for the first time in his life, Eddie can sustain himself year-round playing hockey. But he went back to the Canadian National Railway anyway. He didn't need the money, he just believed that the difference between a 5-year career and one going 10 or more was how a man kept himself busy in the off-season. Going into the next season, though, he signed a new deal with Boston that kept him in New England, and he picked up as one of the best players in the Bruins. As the season approached, papers across the country raved about Eddie Shore, how well he played, and of the greatness to come. He largely proved them right, with reporters marveling at how great he could be if he managed to stay out of the box. Referee Cooper Smeaton would later say that while he enjoyed hockey in the 20s and 30s, and most of the players, quote, there were a few I could have done without, like Eddie Shore. He was a madman when he got onto the ice. Referees also got wise to him being one of the game's early masters of embellishment, with teammate Frank Fredrickson noting how he would roll around in agony until it was clear no call was coming.
Oh, that sucks. I hate to hear about that.
Yeah.
Man.
But to Eddie, there was nothing dirty about how he played. Quote, hard guy, bad boy, no, I'm not either one. Never started roughing anybody in my life, never will. But of course, if somebody's trying to knock me loose from my brains, trying to break my arm or leg, trying foul tricks to keep me from helping my team win, well, that makes it a little different.
All right, I mean, no.
Yeah.
No, because again...
I don't know about you saying you've never started roughing anybody in your life. You have roughed plenty of people.
I gotta challenge that one, Eddie.
He had a storybook-style flashback of murder. And that's what kept him from more murder.
Of a cow.
Alright, what about the time where you fucking held a guy down and was hitting him with a fucking stick while the other guy...
I don't know about that one. I don't know if I can tell you anything about that. He was sticking up for his goalie.
I mean, he definitely did do that. I can't deny that.
So on December 12th, 1927, the Bruins were staying at their hotel for a game later that day versus Detroit, when in the early afternoon, Ross gathered everyone into his room, locking the door behind them. He explained there were 5 armed gunmen in the lobby who wanted them to throw the game for $20,000. Ross allowed their agent into the room to make the pitch to the team directly, but he was unnerved by how outnumbered he was and proposed a private discussion with just Ross and a couple of team leaders. So Art Ross, Frank Fredrickson, and Sprague Cleghorn went behind another closed door, and the rest of the team could hear a heated discussion ongoing until Cleghorn re-entered the room and noted the offer had been raised to $30,000, asking the team how they wanted to respond. Eddie Shore went red in face in anger at the disrespectful offer of throwing a game. He tells Cleghorn the agent couldn't even buy the team for $100,000 or any amount of money. When the agent entered the room, Eddie rushed him, got a hold of him, and started carrying the man to an open window until the 3 people who went in the room alone with him started shouting, it was just a prank, meant to fire the team up.
Oh my god. Why would you do that? What the fuck?
This man does not know.
The agent was also a magician, and he spent the next few hours entertaining the team with card tricks.
Wait, so after wait.
No.
Wait.
No.
Wait a minute. So this man
No.
This man almost killed fucking Batman.
He almost killed a clown.
And then he decides he's gonna play some card tricks later.
I mean, they hired him to do card tricks. He's not gonna leave until he does some fucking card tricks.
He does some...
I believe you just picked up and did your job anyway. Wow.
Anyway, look at this card, I guess.
Right, so
Remember it.
I know that shit was a little heavy. So, here's some, ready for me? Pull a card from behind your ear? Fucking, what the fuck is going on?
On February 21st, 1928, Eddie Shore and the Bruins played the Pittsburgh Pirates. No, not that one.
Oh, yeah.
Early in the game, Duke McCurry swung at a puck, and his follow-through struck Eddie in the chin, where he still had a wound covered from a game a few days prior. Referee Dr. Eddie O'Leary would come and check on the wound, but decided it didn't warrant a penalty.
Stop. No, stop. You go the fuck back. You go right the fuck back. Was that actually a doctor?
What kind of doctor do you think he was?
That's gotta be a dentist, right?
He's another dentist.
Oh my god.
No.
Dr. Eddie O'Leary was also on The Dentist with Dr. Jerry LaFlamme and Dr. Charles Stewart.
What the fuck is going on?
What is
this? They can't all be from the same area. What the fuck is going on? Are they all convening?
So the players lined up for the face-off, and the very next time Pittsburgh raced towards the Boston net, McCurry ate Eddie Shore's elbow. As Eddie was on his way to the box, McCurry started yelling at him, leading to both dropping the gloves. Pittsburgh forward Harold Cotton tried to get involved, only to take a punch from Shore right on the chin and go down in one shot. It took most of the players on the ice to pull Shore off of McCurry, with the Boston Globe calling it a rampage. After the brawl, the referees gathered all the players in both teams, including those in the penalty box, and lectured them at center ice about the assault and battery they were committing on the ice.
Oh, hey guys.
The ref do a substitute teacher fucking straight up lecture at center ice.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Oh my god.
Locals believe that if the initial high stick and Eddie was called, this all could have been avoided, and the fans let the referees know, culminating at the end of the second period when referee Mike Rodden punched a fan who jeered him too much.
What? So now the referee is punching?
Oh,
There are no rules. There are no fucking rules, man. Whatever.
No
We're just making this
way.
shit up as we go.
At the end of the 1927-28 regular season, Eddie Shore was the highest scoring player in Boston, the most penalized player in the league with 165 penalty minutes. They also only played like 42 games at the time, just to put that in perspective.
I mean,
and he finished third place at MVP voting.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Once again.
Very productive.
Yeah.
Constantly in the box, constantly scoring.
Looking like a cadaver the whole time.
Hold that thought. There's a story like that coming up.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to take a break. My head's gonna fall off.
Unfortunately, Eddie suffered from fatigue illness, so he was held scoreless with 8 penalty minutes in the playoff series versus the Rangers, and the Bruins were eliminated from the playoffs in 2 games.
I wonder what could have possibly have made him feel tired. And, who knows? It's a mystery.
That offseason, with a fat new NHL paycheck and no need or desire to return to the CNR, Eddie reconnected with his roots and bought a farm outside of Edmonton that would be the new source of his summer conditioning. The Edmonton Journal wrote of his proficiency on the farm, noting that one of his hens laid an egg 7 1/4 inches around the center, 8 3/4 inches lengthwise, and weighed a fraction less than 1/4 pound. I have no idea if this is impressive because I've never measured an egg.
This is what I mean when I say there was nothing to fucking do back then. All right, we are out here measuring this dude's fucking chicken eggs for a news article. No, there's nothing to fucking do.
Meanwhile, the Rangers were captured by Eddie's skills and they wanted him to play in New York. They offered up young defenseman Miles Lane, who was unhappy in New York and wanted to play for Boston. Charles Adams' response was simply, "You are so far from shore, you need a life preserver."
That's actually pretty
good line.
That was pretty good.
On December 18th, Eddie was involved in some rough action again, getting tangled up with Herbie Lewis of the Detroit Cougars. Eddie was in his face, lifting his stick and neutralizing, upsetting Lewis, who went to the box for being a little too rough in exchange. Eddie took a penalty shortly after, heading to share the same box as Lewis because NHL penalty boxes did not have dividers until the 60s.
Oh no.
As soon as Eddie crossed the threshold, he and Lewis started throwing hands, and the game had to be stopped until they could settle things down.
The fuck did they think was gonna happen? Like, what, that didn't happen
You
before?
get tired of being punched in the face?
It's Yeah, it's incredible that it took them until the 60s to figure that out.
Yeah, come on. What in the world are you talking about?
Like, it was apparently a thing when players would fight, get separated, go to the box, and just start fighting again.
Well, yeah, I mean, because why not? What are you gonna do? Fucking gonna send me to the box again? I'm already there, motherfucker. What are you gonna do?
Later in the game, Shore received a hit from Detroit's Frank Connors, quote, with such terrific force, the Bruins' idol appeared to be dead. He missed 0 time from this hit, playing in the next game on Christmas Day, as the Boston Globe wondered how long he can sustain that kind of resilience. So, Boston started the 1929 season kind of sluggishly. On January 2nd, 1929, they had lost 5 of their last 7 games, and they had an off day with the game the next night in Montreal. Eddie Shore's plan was he was going to get a nice dinner with his friend. His friend would give him a ride to the train station, where he would ride with the team overnight, go to the hotel together, and then play in Montreal the next day. So they have dinner, they finish, and they take off towards the station, and Eddie's friend's car breaks down. They don't know how to fix it, and they probably don't have time even if they did, so he calls a cab. The cab starts moving, but there's an accident between them and the train station, so they get caught in traffic. And time keeps running out, and Eddie's not sure if he's going to be able to make the train. So, at a point, he just throws money at the cab driver, gets out of the cab, grabs his bags, and starts sprinting. He gets into the train station, and you see, like, a scene out of a movie where he runs in as the train takes off, he drops almost all of his bags and sprints after it. But the Edmonton Express would not be on rails that night. He missed the train, and no more were going to Montreal until the next day, arriving after the start of the game. He couldn't fly, because all flights were grounded due to a blizzard. So with the Bruins slumping, already short men due to injuries, and with a $500 fine for missing the train, Eddie resolved to make it to Montreal in time to play. He was going to rent a car, but a wealthy friend of the team offered his limousine and chauffeur for Eddie. From the Boston Garden to the Montreal Forum was a 307-mile journey lasting 5 hours on modern roads in clear conditions. And starting at 11:30 p.m. on January 2nd, 1929, Eddie and the chauffeur set out into the snow, alone against the elements on their way to Montreal. The driver hates driving in snow, and he makes sure Eddie knows it. It's cold. We can't see through the snow. We don't have snow chains. They have around 20 hours to make it there, but the driver is moving forward at 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that cannot be at, actual pace.
No.
So, yeah.
And here comes Eddie Shore's Ken Block era.
So at one point, the car slides off the road into a ditch. With a little bit of effort, they manage to get it onto the road again, and they come by a 24-hour service station where they get snow chains attached. Frustrated with the lack of progress, Eddie tells the chauffeur to move over. He's taking over driving.
Oh my god, he's actually gonna fucking... Alright, I thought Shotstone was I thought he was actually joking. I thought Brandon was joking. Are you kidding me?
Nope. Nope, this guy's a psychopath.
Oh my god.
You have to assume whatever is done in the movie Crank was based off of this man's fucking life.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, the blizzard is only getting worse. They have a single windshield wiper, and the poor thing gets overwhelmed and freezes to the glass. They can't see a damn thing. It's deep into the night, and they're moving at a crawl. So Eddie takes advantage of a car design you don't really see anymore, segmented windshields, and he rips out his half of the windshield and just raw dogs it through the mountains of New England, his face exposed to the blizzard.
Yeah! What the...
You don't need windshield wipers if you don't have a windshield.
He's gonna use his fucking head. Okay. Fine.
Around 5 a.m., deep into the mountains in New Hampshire, they slide off the road again, the tire chains having snapped off from heavy use. Fortunately, they're near a construction site where Eddie manages to wake up an attendant and they get a new set of chains attached, but the snowstorm is too heavy and they slide off the road 2 more times. As they get into the afternoon and they cross the border into Quebec, Eddie decides he needs a nap, just 20 or 30 minutes. He's probably been awake for 24 hours by this point. Eddie asks the driver, "All I need you to do is go at least 12 miles an hour and stay in the middle of the road." So Eddie gets into the passenger side and barely closes his eyes before they slide off the road again and crash into a ditch. And this time, they can't get the car out on their own. So the chauffeur seeks refuge in the limousine, and Eddie hikes a mile down the road to a Quebecois farmhouse, not speaking a word of French, and somehow manages to communicate their plight. He's told a couple of different stories on how he got to the hotel from this point. One story is that he paid the farmer $8 and rented a team of horses that pulled the car out of the ditch with enough time to get to the hotel. Another time he said that the farmer hitched the horses up to a sleigh and drove him to a connecting train line. Either way, a little after 5:30 p.m., the day of the game, and 22 hours after missing the train, Eddie Shore staggers into the Windsor Hotel, and he looks like shit. He hasn't eaten in over 24 hours.
Oh, now he looks like shit?
Yeah, I was about to say, like...
He hasn't eaten in over 24 hours. He's barely slept since he woke up the previous day, well over 24 hours. Art Ross could not believe the sorry state Eddie was in.
You can't
Quote,
play him. You can't play him.
He was in no condition for hockey. His eyes were bloodshot, his face frostbitten and wind-burned, his fingers bent and set like claws after gripping the steering wheel so long, and he couldn't walk straight. I figure his legs were almost paralyzed from hitting the brake and clutch.
Oh my god!
So Ross tells Eddie, there's absolutely no way you're playing this game.
Thank you, alright.
But Eddie tells Ross after everything he just went through, there's absolutely no way he is not playing this game. He tells Ross that all I need is a steak dinner and a 20 to 30 minute nap. Wake me up when it's time to go. So an hour later, teammates Dit Clapper and Cooney Wayland go try to wake him up.
Did you just say Dick Clapper?
Dit. D-I-T.
All right.
So Dit Clapper and Cooney Wayland go try to wake him up, but Eddie is out like a light. So they get on one side, work together, and heave him off the bed. He crashes to the floor, still out like a light. After splashing some water on his face, they manage to get him up and moving and head to the arena. Art Ross is very worried about his man. He says he's going to take Eddie Shore out of the game the minute he doesn't look like himself. But that didn't happen. Eddie Shore played 56 minutes of that game with 4 penalty minutes.
You said you played 56 minutes?
56 minutes with 4 penalty minutes.
So he played the whole fucking game? What the fuck?
Quote, Art Ross, both his eyes were practically closed, his face was all raw and almost bleeding from the blizzard. He ate a couple steaks, took a half hour's rest, then played one of the greatest all-around games I've ever seen.
He probably wasn't even thinking at that point, so probably I wouldn't be surprised. He's literally just playing on nothing but adrenaline and fucking instincts, so yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
When the game ended, Montreal hadn't managed to score a single goal, but Eddie Shore had in a 1-0 Boston Bruins victory.
Oh my god. The hilarious part is that the sanest decision making in this whole story came from the fucking coach. Like, what are we, an hour in? Like fucking like saying that he wasn't gonna play him. And of course Eddie's like,
nah, I'm gonna fucking do it. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, seriously. This man survives on being told no and then raging against the heavens. What the hell is going on?
A couple of weeks later, Eddie was targeted by the Detroit Cougars' Bill Bridge, who knocked him hard into the boards and injured his leg.
Stop going after him. He's gonna get stronger. What the fuck?
Eddie was carried off the ice by his teammates, and the crowd was eerily silent, not used to seeing the Bruins' beast of a man looking vulnerable. It was reported that Eddie was sweating harder than any physical exertion had ever done to him. While he did return for the third period, he was noticeably slower and less nimble, and the crowd could tell something was off. The next game was only the second time in his third season as a Bruin that Eddie would miss time, missing the next 4 games. Weeks later, the Globe noted that he was still suffering severe pain whenever he received a pass. A month after he was hit by Bill Bridge, Boston had a rematch with Detroit. Near the end of the third period, Bill Bridge carried the puck into Boston's zone on Eddie Shore's side. For his trouble, he was knocked into the boards from a cross-check to the mouth.
Oh!
Bridge would leave the game missing 4 teeth, one for each game he cost Eddie. Midway through the season, Boston acquired Dr. Bill Carson.
No, dude, come on.
Stop.
You're making this up now.
No.
This can't be real. No.
There are not enough doctors in 1832 for this shit.
I have one twist on Dr. Bill Carson for you. He is not a dentist.
Gynecologist.
I could not find what kind of doctor Bill Carson was.
Then it's history. It's been written.
There's no fucking way, dude. Like, oh my god.
That year, the Bruins swept the Montreal Canadiens in the first round with 3 wins. The Boston faithful were ecstatic, and 3,000 fans gathered at the train station to greet their heroes, but none received a bigger ovation than Eddie Shore. He was coming to be one of the biggest draws in Boston sports, with teams often advertising their games versus Eddie Shore and the Boston Bruins. The rafters of the train station shook due to the fervor the team was greeted with. The Boston Bruins were only 5 years old in a brand new league and had captured the hearts of the city, partly thanks to the Edmonton Express. Just as Eddie was beloved by Boston, he was hated elsewhere. A few years later, columnist Kyle Crichton would write that, quote, "What makes Eddie Shore the greatest drawing card in hockey is the hope that he might be severely killed."
Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
Wow.
Severely killed?
Not just killed, severely killed.
Okay, man.
People
It's a
buying
game?
tickets going, I want to see Eddie Shore die tonight.
I want to see blood. Like, holy shit. Like, oh my god.
Eddie
I mean, so every game just starts, hey, my name's Eddie Shore. Welcome to Jackass. Like, what the fuck?
Like his life is absolutely a Jackass episode. Like, what the fuck?
Eddie would often come onto the ice last and received his own ovation, to the ire of Art Ross. But Ross had a plan. He waited until the team had a slump and then told him that the reason they were playing so badly was superstition, and it was bad luck to step onto the ice with their jersey numbers out of order. Wearing number 2, Eddie was now always the second man on the ice after goaltender Tiny Thompson. In the 1929 playoffs, the Bruins would secure their first Stanley Cup championship. Charles Adams rewarded each of the players, like a cartoon-rich person, with $500 of gold coins.
Oh my god. This is becoming more and more like a fucking, like, Skyrim playthrough. I'm telling you. This guy is, since he's getting paid in, like, a gold coin pouch, he's fucking, like... He's
with a dollar sign on it.
Yeah, what the fuck is this, dude? So stupid.
He declared their MVP in the Stanley Cup Finals to be goalie Tiny Thompson, but close behind him, Eddie Shore. And that is where I'm going to call it on part 1 of Eddie Shore.
Oh my god. This is only part 1.
This is
This
part
guy
1.
is like
madness.
Professionally second place.
Dude, can I just say, like, again, I've heard nothing about this man until you started talking about him.
Which is insane to me.
Because,
He was it wasn't just a violent guy. He was a very talented player.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, could you imagine how hard it will be to write all of his accomplishments on a gravestone?
Knocked unconscious 3 times this game, knocked unconscious 4 times that game.
Like somebody's wringing their hands like, here we go with it.
Dude, like, the amount of... We talk about concussions so much now, right? And rightfully so when it comes to sport nowadays, especially when it comes to hockey and football, right? But, like, this is a whole, like, he should be dead.
I feel
Dude,
like one thing that I might have said to you before I got mum, because I knew I was going to have you on this, was people really didn't take brain damage seriously back then, which seems like an obvious statement. People didn't take brain damage as seriously just 20 years ago, but in the 1920s, people really didn't take brain damage seriously.
Like, to the point, like, where they didn't think it existed. Like, this is one of those things where, like, you know, like in World War I, where people get, you know, they get PTSD in combat, right? And they just said, like, oh, you're a coward, right? You're a coward for not going back out there, not wanting to fight. This is what this is. Like, if you got knocked out, if
you woke up back up, you were expected to be in the game.
Yeah, like seriously, they would leave. Apparently, they're just leaving them down on the ice. By the way, I don't know what happened to you conscious back then. Did they just leave you there, like in the corner, where you get knocked out?
No, they carried him off the ice a couple times in the story.
Actually, okay, thank God, because I'm like, I mean, listen, I feel like I'm okay to ask that at this point because the rest of this fucking story has been so cartoonish that I'm wondering if that is what's going to be. Like, what the fuck? Yeah,
we're gonna get reports of little birdies flying over his head.